Welcome back for another session of Make Your Horse Thirsty. This week, I'd like to talk a little bit about data-driven decisions. Now, we all like to talk about making data-driven decisions, and we love to have data-driven schools because if we're making our decisions based upon the data, then we know we're making decisions of what works. We know what we're doing makes sense and has an impact on students. And it's absolutely true that we need to make data-driven decisions, that we need to track the data, and we need to know that our efforts don't just feel good, but they actually are good. However, when we're tracking the data, when we're making these data-driven decisions, we need to be careful as to what data are we looking for. And when we're setting goals, what goals are we setting? Because you see, as we set our goals, as we track our data, that's going to have an influence on the decisions we make. If I set a goal, for instance, of having 95% of my students pass the tests that they take, what could happen is I could limit the number of students that I allow to test. I could decide not to test the student because, well, I can't be 100% certain you're going to pass, and I might not hit my 95% goal if I put you down to test. So I'm just going to not put you down to test, and maybe at some point in the future, I'll be a little bit more comfortable with you're absolutely going to pass. And with most of our students, that's not going to be a problem. However, we have those students that we're never going to be comfortable with, those students that we're never going to be 100% certain that they're going to be able to pass their test. And if we don't take that chance, if we don't roll those dice and say, let's go ahead and take that test and let's see what happens. I think you're ready, maybe you're not. Then we might never test that student. And that student's going to get frustrated. And that student's going to give up. Because what's the point of doing all this studying and doing all this homework if I'm never going to get a chance to take the test? Now, yes, it's true. If you put a student down to take a test and they fail that test, it may confirm a belief they already have that they're not capable of earning their GED or completing their education. However, that's only true if you're not there to intervene. If you give them those results in the right way, you can have the opportunity to coach that student through failure, to teach that student to develop grit, to believe that when you don't hit your mark, we've just got to strategize, we've got to analyze, we got to do things a little bit differently, and then we can go back at it. When you never give that student the opportunity to test, when you always tell them, you're not ready yet, I don't think you're going to pass, so we're not going to put you down right now, what you tell that student, the message you send without ever intending to send it, is that if you're not 100% certain that you're going to succeed at something you do, then it's not worth ever doing. Continue to try and practice and kind of get yourself ready, but don't ever go out there and actually try to do it until you are 100% certain you're going to be successful. And when we do that, we limit ourselves. We limit our students if we give them that mindset, because there are some things in life that we're never 100% certain we can do. And we're never going to be 100% certain until we've gone out, tried it, and either succeeded or failed. But through that failure provides us so many lessons, so many things that we couldn't learn without going out and trying in the first place. For myself, when I went after my master's degree, I wasn't too confident I could do it. I was fairly certain I got lucky to get the bachelor's degree, and the master's was just out of the question for me. But I was going to try. And you know what? My first semester, I turned in my first assignment for my master's program. And I got an email back from my professor. You earned a 30% on this assignment you turned in. Now that right there, that's devastating, right? Because I'm thinking I can't do it. And now the first assignment I turn in, I get an abysmally low score on, 30%. Now I'm really thinking this isn't possible for me. However, my professor didn't stop there with his email. He continued on and he said, I know this is your first semester in graduate school and you may not quite be ready for what graduate school work expects. So here are a couple of pointers as to what I was looking for in that. You have the option, you can go back, you can use these pointers, try again, or you can simply accept the 30%. Well, when my professor gave me a path forward, when he gave me an opportunity to improve that grade and some ideas as to how I could do it, I took that opportunity. I spent my weekend redoing that assignment. I submitted it again, and the response I got back from my professor the second time was very excited and exaggerated. Wahoo! I knew you could do this. I knew you were capable. I knew you had it in it. This is exactly what I was looking for. This work is amazing. This is what graduate level work looks like. And so, although my belief had been confirmed with that 30% failure, the fact that my professor took the time to coach me and to encourage me and to point out that, hey, we just need to change some things, led me to success. And we can do that for our students as well. If our students don't have the ability to process failure, if they don't have the ability to learn from it because it is so devastating to them, then we have the responsibility to teach our students how to effectively process failure. We're not always going to be there to coach them, and so we need to prepare them to be able to handle and process such things without us there to cheer them on. I'm Blaine Cronrath.
I'm Jim Mahler.
Until next time, continue to make your horse thirsty.